These are all crimes. I tried to turn them in, and I'm blown off. Um, the lady at dispatch woman. I don't know who the hell she was, but she was a breath of fresh air. She didn't bully me. She didn't send me in 400 different directions. She didn't try to reword what I was saying. I'm thankful for her. Officer Neubauer came out, and he said that they're not allowed to investigate themselves, that I needed to get a hold of the state police. We have recordings with the state police saying that it's not their job to police the police. We've also got many other agencies who are saying that they're not going to do anything until the police department does their job. So I have to wait on the police department. According to all of these other agencies, the police department says they can't police themselves, which I already knew. But I'm sent to them anyway. And that's the thing about all these agencies playing stupid because they don't want to do their job. They'll change the law repeatedly. Neubauer did that several times. As soon as I turned off the camera, he started up on it. It's like, fuck. They take advantage of people who don't have any money. All the places that they send me to, it costs me money to go there, and those places tell me it's not their job. Ooh, Twisted Weapons of the East, Ancient Discoveries. Good show, by the way. Oh, there's the little fuckers right in front of me. They're not honking, though. They're not screaming at me. They're not yelling racial slurs at me, so I'm going to let them go. I'm just going to... I was going to say I'll get their license plate, but them bushes are covering it up. Fuck it. I tried telling police officers what was going on multiple occasions while it was going on. The officers, instead of investigating, wanted to bully me, lie to me, and insinuate things that were untrue, and that's not okay. Neubauer has showed up before. He is the Marky Mark looking feller. Well, younger Marky Mark. Now, as y'all know, I'm an artist. Used to be. He's a good looking feller. Ain't gonna lie. See, here's the thing, is that no matter what, it's nobody's job. Well, it is somebody's job. It is absolutely somebody's job. Exploiting a disabled person is pretty fucked up. It's even more fucked up when it's the cops that do it. Now, them youngins at the parking lot, I didn't mind them tearing shit around. I mean, of course it bothered me. It prevented me from getting sleep. But it wasn't a big major problem because I was young once, and I understand. But there's certain things that are not okay, no matter who you are. I gotta turn in all of these officers, but then again, because I'm refused the right to do so, that's the thing about calling all these places. They're gonna change the rules every time. They're exploiting me. They're exploiting my disabilities. They're exploiting my financial disabilities. They're exploiting my physical disabilities. And they're asking me to do things that I am incapable of because of actions committed by police officers. I've been cut off because officers want to lie to me, and then each of these agencies wants to, oh, well, you already talked to them, so there's nothing we can do. No, fuck you. It's gaslighting. Neubauer has not been one of the horrible cops here. He said that he's going to go get me 11 forms. Well, good. I still need a place to fill them out. A place where I don't have to look over my shoulder. You see, that's the thing, is that it's the repeated and ongoing abuse that keeps me in a state of panic. Meanwhile, I'm not allowed to defend myself because of the mentally ill tag. They're just going to blow me off on Tides of Change, Care, all these places I've already been that say it's not their job. Why am I being sent to places that tell me it's not their job? Now, Mr. Neubauer told me that he believes if I went to Tides of Change and told him that I needed to sit down in some peace and quiet and fill out my paperwork, that they would let me. No, they'll let you fill out paperwork in their front room. I need peace and quiet. I can't help that. I can't change that. Drugs don't fix that. And that's the thing about exploiting disabled people. You just refuse to find anything out about their disabilities. These people know exactly what they're doing, though. Mr. Neubauer, as soon as I turned off the camera, started in on the calling 911 thing. Hey, you know what? Yes, my life is in immediate danger. It's always in immediate danger because police don't want to do their jobs. They didn't want to do their jobs before Natalie died, no matter what. Oh, thank you, Mr. Neubauer.
Yes.
Sorry, I was rolling me up the cigarette. It is cigarettes. It's not marijuanas.
Hey, you're free to smoke marijuana if you want.
Well, thank you.
11 complaint forms. They're 2 pages each. So there's 1 page for your info, and then another page for the circumstances. All right?
All right.
Witness.
I got a question for you, and this isn't about legal advice. It's about legal procedure.
Okay.
When I call the state police, they tell me that I have to turn it into you guys. The DA's office, they refuse to do anything because there's no paperwork from you guys in any of these instances. And the state patrol, or the state police, say that it's not their job to police the police. They keep sending me back to you guys and wanting me to talk to your supervisors, which I have attempted, and it has resulted in Officer Lotham threatening, harassing, and intimidating me on almost a dozen situations.
Okay.
He needs to stay away from me, and he's one of the officers that I'm trying to get put in prison because that kind of nonsense out of an officer is not acceptable.
Okay.
So when I tell the state police that I've been sent to them by you guys, because you guys have, more than one of you have told me that you can't investigate yourselves, but also more than one of your officers have told me that I have to go through the chain of command. All of the places down at the courthouse, I record everything. They tell me that I got to go through the chain of command. I've attempted to go through the chain of command. The sergeant, the bald one, the bigger feller,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Harold?
Harold? Is he the really super nice one? The one that smiles a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. But he told me, yeah, you do have to go through us, but also, because I was telling him, hey, I was told that I have to take it through the chain of command. I've been trying that since I got here. That's what I'm doing right now, is trying to go through the chain of command with you. He kept on telling me over and over again, you don't want me to do it. You don't want us to investigate ourselves. And I said, they're not going to allow me to do it with the state police unless you guys basically sign off on it. So what am I supposed to do? So he told me to call the state police.
This is your written record of a complaint that you're making in the police department. If the interim chief feels like it needs to go to the state police, he will send it to them. But you could also do the same thing at the state police, is ask for a complaint form and tell them, you know, what you just told me. I keep trying to talk to someone and they keep redirecting me.
I did. That's why it's been 11 months of this here. It was also 7 months of it in Hood River. The guy who stalked me here, that's one of the things about me having to flee Hood River, is that the cops wouldn't do anything about this guy, James Murphy, and he stalked me here. And then when I got here, I tried to turn in James Murphy, And the officer that I spoke to the third time about James Murphy was Officer Martinez at Tides of Change. But then the lady at Tides of Change, Monica, as soon as the officer left, she told me that they couldn't provide me with a room. She did ask me how long that I would need a room for, and I said about 7 hours. And that is legit how long it would take at that point just to fill out all the stuff that had happened here. Now that was 10 or 11 months ago. So if you can imagine, a lot has stacked up since then. With the stuff with your police chief, it's been impossible to get a hold of him. Like the other night, 911 dispatch, or yesterday morning actually, 911 dispatch, the guy who got a hold of me was a complete and total jerk. I'm used to that. I did record the conversation and I made sure to post it up on the internet and show what a jerk he was. When I let him know that it was being recorded live on YouTube, he changed his tune, he changed his attitude, and even though he hung up on me a second time, he did call me back, and instead of having an attitude with me, he apologized and said that he had made a mistake, and thank goodness for that. But it shouldn't have taken me being bullied by him talking over me and preventing me from speaking, and me literally having to prepare the right answers because I already knew what he was going to say. So when he wanted to ask me questions that were misleading, I didn't answer his questions. I made the statements that I needed to. And if I hadn't made the perfectly right statements at those moments, he would have cut me off again, hung up on me, gotten another attitude with me. And that's the reason I want you to thank the lady at dispatch that did this morning, because she acted appropriately. She didn't act like a child. She wasn't petulant. She wasn't rude. And she didn't talk over me. I don't know what her name is, and I know you guys aren't allowed to give it to me. I should have asked for her number so that I could make it. It's not a. What's the word when they do something good? It starts with a C.
Compliment.
Compliment. So I most of the time I want to call up and complain. That lady treated me like a person, so I want to compliment her and thank her for actually being a professional, because that guy yesterday morning was not okay. Also,
I will let her know.
If I send evidence to you through the internet, is that something where you can accept it? Because all of these places that I've been sent to try to send evidence to, they don't give me a way to contact them with the evidence or send them evidence. Nobody looks at evidence.
Okay. Give me a second.
Also, as far as doing stuff over the internet, that's part of my disabilities, is that I need assistance with anything on the internet.
What's your phone number?
Give me a second. I just learned how to do this a couple of weeks ago. Thank goodness for youngins teaching me how to do this stuff. It took me over a month to try to find that. That's my serial number. Oh. Third one down.
Third one down?
Yeah, I'm recording live on YouTube, so it's probably not a good idea to read it aloud.
Oh, well.
Thank you, sir. There's a lady in Nebraska. I tried to turn her in because her and her husband were threatening my life, as well as a few other people in Chapel, Nebraska. Problem is that she worked for the Dual County Sheriff. And when I tried to turn her in, as well as some of her friends, oh, very nice, thank you.
All right, here's your complaint forms. I got you a new pen just in case you didn't have one.
Thank you, sir. Yep. And thank you for treating me with respect.
No problem. No problem at all.
Right. A lot of your other officers have been very intimidating, and it's nice to not be intimidated. The 911 thing, I don't want to call 911 ever. rule number one on the streets is you never talk to the police. They're not your friends.
Okay.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I talk to you at my own risk because people's lives are at risk. So just so you know, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to kill anybody. I'm not trying to threaten anybody.
I know. They're just getting kind of upset that there's 911 calls coming through for something that they don't think is an immediate danger to life or property. So that's why I'm just asking you.
Well, it's resulted in a few dead people, a few missing people, and damage to my property on multiple occasions. So that's the reason that it is important.
Okay, but just unless it's happening in that moment, try to call the non-emergency, okay?
Yeah, well, I do call in that moment, and that's usually the issue is that I call in that moment, and then it ends up being me getting a runaround. The situation with Chris, for example, I do take that stuff seriously, and him having an illegal firearm as a felon, and also, he's on my channel attempting to procure a firearm from Dallas Palmer. It's actually on my channel. If he's a felon, is he allowed to own a firearm in this state?
Usually not. But I don't really know what his status or anyone else's status would be unless I come into contact with them. So I can't really comment on his status or anyone else's.
Well, Amanda's afraid of him. I'm afraid of him. Amanda's mom is afraid of him.
Okay.
The whole gun thing, the fact that it is recorded on my channel, but it's taken so long to get someone to actually listen to it, it's buried under months and months of evidence.
Okay.
For me to be able to try to process it in the library, I have physical disabilities that often make it nearly impossible for me to walk. That's one of the things about being sent to places that are supposed to help out disabled people is that for me, I'm easy to talk over. I'm really easy to talk over. I'm also in a state of crisis all the time, which means it's easy to derail the train, so to speak, as you've probably noticed.
Yeah.
Also, I'm scared, and sometimes things that you guys say do trigger me. Like when I've been sent back and forth between the state troopers, and state troopers say I got to go to you guys say I got to go to the state troopers, but it also depends on the officer. And for me to get a hold of the sheriff, the first sheriff, was impossible. It took me almost 7 months to be able to be transferred to his phone number, and he never called me back. The restricted numbers, obviously you saw how many of those there were just in the last few days. There was almost 100 of them yesterday alone. It's difficult for me to tell whether it's a police officer calling from a restricted number or somebody calling me to tell me that they're going to kill my sister.
Okay.
Oh, you're allowed to lean on it. It ain't going to hurt me. I do usually keep my door closed if it's an officer that I feel unsafe around.
Okay.
Last night I did feel unsafe with Fitzgerald because he had fudged it up so many times, but I did open it up because I called them. If it's a situation where Lotham shows up, I'm going to be afraid. He is going to bully me, and that's one of the things about him being allowed to show up when I try to turn him in. When I tried to turn him into the hospital and he showed up, he bullied me. When I tried to turn him in over at the McDonald's, he showed up and bullied me. When I tried to turn it into his supervisor, not the bald one, but the other one, Lotham showed up and bullied me and antagonized the situation, and after he was done antagonizing the situation, that's when the sergeant showed up with an attitude. And since I don't remember all their names, it's difficult for me. Every time I move somewhere else, I have to learn their names. Now, the stuff that you gave me and provided me is useful. I am going to get a hold of the state police and let them know what you told me. You're probably going to have a long day.
Okay.
I'll do my best not to call you guys. If people yell the N-word at me, I am going to make the call because it's frequent and ongoing.
That's just the thing is, it's not illegal. If it was, we would do something, but it's not illegal to yell that.
Well, it's not just yelling it, it's malicious and ongoing, and it's gang stalking. They're doing it as a group, and they've been doing it almost since I got here, but it didn't become malicious until about 5 days ago.
Okay.
But it has been malicious. Some of the youngins have been malicious the whole time, but when they started yelling out of a megaphone at me at the Tillamook Sporting Goods, calling me a child molester, and what else were they calling me? the N-word, but screaming out of it on a megaphone as a group, yes, that is absolutely illegal. I am a disabled and at-risk adult who can't defend himself. It is absolutely illegal.
All right. Well, I'm not going to argue with you on that.
All right.
All right. So
All right, be
fill out those
safe.
forms. Hope your day gets better.
All right, let's see what we got going on here. A whole bunch of typing. Ben typed, "In truth, I find myself in possession of a pair of curious devices, both serving distinct and noble purposes. The first of these contrivances, a faithful companion, is designated for a noble task of communicating with the purveyor of provisions, the provider of sustenance, often referred to as the plug. It is through this means that the essential essence of existence flows, that which nourishes and sustains. The second of these marvels, a trusted companion, has been allocated to the delicate and intricate matter of consorting with the fairer sex, those maidens of grace and allure, and also to engage with the riches of the realm. In the pursuit of both passions and riches, this instrument proves its worth. Thus I declare with due gravitas that I am in possession of two such devices, one designated for the providers of sustenance, the other for the maidens of wealth that grace our mortal world. In other words, I am in possession of a dual set of mobile devices." Me too. I have 7 mobile devices. That's the thing, is that I am disabled, and they do have to make accommodations for my disabilities, and they don't. The places that they're sending me to, I've already been to. Those places have already said it's not their job. Ben, you typed that you have a dual set of mobile devices. That was a long-winded way of saying it. Are you willing to make calls with me and help me to turn this in? People have been threatening to kill my family since before Natalie was killed. Nobody would help me stop it. No officer cared if I was assaulted. No officer cared if my life was being threatened. They wanted to claim that it's not against the law to threaten someone's life. Really, it's making a terroristic threat, you fuck. Y'all can suck my dick. You can kiss my ass. How do you like that stuff? You don't like insults. Well, it's not just insults, it's malicious. And for these officers to go out of their way to not look at evidence and just make outrageous claims like it's not illegal, guaranteed it's illegal if I do it. This is what it's really like trying to get help as an at-risk and disabled adult. People rip you off of everything that you have, and then they blame it on you. No, people took advantage of me and continue to do so. These are fucking illegal. I am disabled. And these assholes want to blow that off and ignore it. Now, Neubauer is far nicer than many of the other officers, is he not? He's still full of shit. It's a conflict of interest for me to send anything to that department. Oh, we got another racist asshole typing the N-word at me over and over again. Yep, the same punk typing that word over and over and over again. See, this is the thing. These people refusing to do their jobs and changing the rules every time has resulted in me being forced to record things publicly. And that comes with its own risks. I post publicly because the cops aren't going to do their fucking jobs. No matter what, anything that's done to me is magically not illegal. Guaranteed it's illegal if I do it. Fuck the United States and everyone in it. If Russia decides to go to war against the United States, there's one promise I can make you. I will destroy infrastructure nonstop. I will burn down bridges. I will knock down power lines. I will fuck up the railroad tracks. Guaranteed, if we go to war with Russia, I am not on the United States' side. I have already, on my channel, spoken up about military troop movements, including the movement of Apache helicopters along the Columbia River. If Russian got a hold of me today and asks me where the Minuteman missile silos are in Nebraska, I could let them know where about 30 of them are. Not that they can't tell by their satellites. That's the thing. I cannot in good conscience consider myself an American. I will not follow Nazis. Not going to happen. Americans, well, if they showed themselves to be good people, it would be a different story. I'm not willing to kill people, but goddamn, I will destroy infrastructure if we go to war. So let's hope we don't go to war with the United States, because you guys are going to end up fucked. It's not a joke. I'm not willing to kill people. I believe it's wrong. But I am absolutely willing to commit property damage. The American people have shown themselves to be bullies. They've shown themselves to be the most superficial people on the planet. Yep. I'm an asshole. So apparently tomorrow, they want me to go back down and talk to the people that care. So tomorrow, apparently that's what I'll need to do. For these people to talk over me and dictate what it is I am or am not allowed to say, or to change the laws on me repeatedly. It's a very screwed up situation. If the United States goes to war with Russia, y'all are going to have to arrest me. Because if you don't, then I am going to do everything that I have to preserve human life. And that means helping to topple the United States government. Y'all know I'm willing to destroy property. I've shown that time and again. Between killing people and destroying property, I will destroy property, if necessary. Between living in this parking lot and throwing smoke grenades at Ukrainians, I would rather be throwing smoke grenades a Ukrainians. Obviously, a smoke grenade is not going to kill anyone. Obviously, I have no hatred or malice towards anybody as far as Kiev or Ukraine. As far as the war between Ukraine and Russia goes, I'm on Ukraine's side, not Russia's. So when I say I'd rather throw grenades, smoke grenades, obviously that's not a representation of me willing to actually go over there and do that. That's explaining to you how fucked up a situation this is. The United States needs to think real long and hard about what they're doing. Do you guys really want me burning the whole country down? That's not something I'm wanting to do. And it's also not something that I'm willing to do. Wait. It actually is something that I'm willing to do. I said if anything happened to Natalie Bollinger, my older brother, or Zyler, that I would burn the whole world to the ground. Natalie got her brains blown out. On the lucky side for me, Zyler turns 18 soon. When you want to talk shit about me, just remember what you did about this situation. Remember that you watched for entertainment. The United States is the largest human trafficker in the world. What these guys are doing is intentionally harming disabled and at-risk adults by depriving us the most basic of our human rights, denying us the rights of American citizens, taking advantage of disabled people, and that's what these officers have done since I got here. That's what they all do. And without a friend or family member who fucking cares, they get away with it. Officer Neubauer did spout some shit that's bullshit. It is recorded, most of it. That's the thing about looking up the laws and knowing what's up. These officers believe it's okay to change the laws based on what they want. Well, alright. But it's against the law for you to do that. And Officer Zach Neubauer sent me his phone number. Let's see, it says, Z. Neubauer requests evidence from you for the Tillamook Police Department, Oregon. Click this link to view your request and submit evidence. https://tillamookpdor.evidence.com/axony/community request/share. This link is only valid for 10 days. Let's see. Contact Tillamook Police Department OR with ID Number, all right, cool. Here is a description to assist you, Sean Schwartz. All right. Now let's see if we can do something about affecting change. Taking advantage of an at-risk and disabled adult is against the law. Multiple officers here have committed felonies against me, knowingly, willingly, and intentionally, and as a result, well, here's the thing. They make it a pain in the ass and an impossibility because they play stupid about who it needs to go to. Nebraska state troopers say it's not their job. This is not okay. Since these officers keep bouncing me around about whose job it is, and then there's this interim bullshit. If the interim chief tries doing the job of an actual chief of police, he's not going to have any officers left. Sucks for him. Now, Ben just typed a whole big long-winded thing about how he's got a couple of phones. Real cool. If I have to destroy property to save a human life, God damn it, I will. Guaranteed every time. I'm also willing to commit property damage to protect dogs. The thing is, I'm an at-risk adult who is easy to take advantage of. And these police take advantage of that. Or these people want to talk over me with bullshit about what the law states. They don't need to do that. What they need to do is fucking listen. When it comes to making an oral report, that would be real easy if police officers weren't busy talking over me. Or bullying me and harassing me for making the attempt. You can go back through my recordings. You can see that Fitzgerald is a fucking punk-ass bitch. Not my fault. You can also tell that there are other officers here who are also punk-ass bitches. But there are also officers here who are consummate criminals, such as Loffman and Lotham. Very much predators that you need to look out for. I'm only disabled when it suits them, and that's not okay. Walrus type like the guy who took advantage of you in foster. A lot of people took advantage of me in foster care. That's the thing about foster care, juvenile system. Nobody cares about you. You're a kid in the system. Let me tell you and explain to you an example from this very town. What happens when you try to turn in your predators as a child? Oh, Walrus erased it. Message retracted. Walrus, it's hard to trust people who can't be true to their words and who try to hide them. That's why seeing the message retracted thing bugs me. If you said it, be true to it. If you got the words wrong, admit you got the words wrong. It happens. You notice how every one of these officers, including Neubauer, when I talk over what I'm saying, to try to infer that it is a certain way that it is not. Basically inferring whatever it is that allows them to get away with it. Whatever allows them to do as little as possible. By denying the most basic rights required to turn in my predators, they have knowingly, willingly, and intentionally assisted my predators in getting away. By playing this back and forth bullshit, making it a massive goddamn fucking head game to try to turn in fucking bad goddamn cops. Fuck this country and everyone in it. Y'all don't like being recorded. Well, good for you. I don't give two shits. We live in the United States of America, and the United States of America is currently modeled after Nazi Germany. So, what the fuck would make you think that a man who looks as Jewish as I do is going to go for any of this? Not going to happen. By bouncing me back and forth between different services, and bouncing me back and forth between the state police and the local police, each one of them claiming it's not their job. It just allows those police officers to continue to do those things. The state police that they'll send out are local police who work together with these other police, and they're friends with one another. By blowing me off as much as they possibly can, they guarantee that there will be nothing done about my predators because they didn't do something right away. When they want to intimidate me for calling 911, keep in mind that I've tried everything else. I've tried every other service. They all send me around in circles and refuse to do their job. There is no civilian fucking oversight, you dipshits. It's supposed to be we the people, but it's not. People who are not physically attractive don't matter to your society. People who are not rich don't matter to your society. And if a woman stalks us with her friends, apparently it's not illegal, but it's certainly illegal for me to speak up about it, isn't it? It's apparently illegal for me to go to the cops when I'm harassed, threatened, or intimidated. And that's why I speak up, and that's why I curse. Ben typed, how exactly is America modeled after Nazi Germany? Well, let's take a look at all of our programs. We do exactly the same thing that the Nazis were doing with human beings. We start off by going after the homeless and the disabled, same as the Nazi Germans did. The difference between the Nazi Germans and the United States is that America found a way to make a profit off of it in peacetime. Anybody with the balls to stand up to the United States government ends up getting their rights taken away, getting railroaded. Now we can bring up Werner von Braun and the rocket program. But that really is just the theft of Nazi technology. It's Nazi technology. Werner von Braun wanted to go to the moon. How crazy is that? Werner von Braun was a Nazi. The Nazi Germans, their concentration camps were based on a American institution started immediately after the Civil War. It's called, you're gonna love this, chain gangs. Adolf Hitler's major motivations for the shit that Fritz Sauckel did were based on the American chain gang. Sad, isn't it? Ben typed, Sean, the American government did not gas homeless people. Really? Really? People in houses versus people who are homeless. There are 2 people who are homeless killed by people in houses for every 1 person in a house killed. The homeless population accounts for 0.18% of our population, yet they account for 61% of those killed by police. While BLM tries to pretend that we don't exist. What happens when a homeless person dies? Or carcass gets incinerated? The Nazis were at least kind enough to put people out of their misery eventually. As far as forced labor goes, we do have forced labor in the United States. Slavery is still legal in the United States. The 13th Amendment didn't take away slavery. It made it legal for every single state. We do things differently. We found ways to make money off of victimizing the disabled and the homeless. We found a way to get the taxpayers to spend over $100,000 a year on each of us to have us incarcerated. Most of these places make their money by victimizing the shit out of the homeless people at the expense of the American public. And the American government did gas homeless people. Look it up. Does it matter if it's a gas chamber or a bullet to the skull? Does it really make a fucking difference? Murder is murder, Ben. Exploitation is exploitation, Ben. Slave labor is slave labor, Ben. You gonna help turn this shit in? You gonna speak up? Or do you just come here for entertainment? Anyway, I'm gonna end this video. I gotta try to calm down a bit. The thing is, there's a very limited amount of time now. When I first came to town, there were crimes committed by the police and others. And their body cameras will show that, but I can't get those body cameras until one of these son of a bitches tells me whose job it is. But they're all telling me it's someone else's job, and the places they're sending me to are telling me it's not their job. It's someone's job to fucking do this. Fuck this goddamn country and everyone in it. Why am I on Russia's side if there's a war with the United States? Because in Russia, slavery is universally illegal. Universally illegal. Here in the United States, all you have to be is homeless. Cops will press false charges on you, harass you for trying to get help, try to pretend that you're breaking the law. Holy shit. If you want to call me a traitor, that's fine. Just remember, I'm not a traitor to the American people. I'm a traitor to the American government. Well, you want me to support a bunch of child molesters and rapists? You're out of your goddamn mind. Anyway, Ben, good to have you. Obviously, I'm not blocking you like I would a troll. I do consider you a useful part of this community, or a potentially useful part of this community. Sometimes you say good stuff. Sometimes you make sense. Sometimes you miss the point entirely.